right, guys, so we decided to make a quick pit stop today. We're visiting our friend Art. So if you guys remember a while ago, we visited Art because he had some blown off shingles on his roof, and he was wondering if we can help him submit it to insurance to help replace most of the cost of the roof. So I have a special surprise for him. So since we're done with the roof, I want to give him the gift and see his reaction, and then we're going to take a quick look at the roof. Hey Art, it's good to see you.
How you doing?
How you doing? Good to see you.
You too.
Hey, so last time we spoke, you know, we were obviously taking a look at the roof to see what we can do with insurance since you have so much blown off shingles with the storm.
Yeah.
Looks like we were able to successfully push that through. Insurance paid for almost all the costs, if not all.
It did.
And it looks beautiful. We're gonna go and take a look at it. But before we do that, I got something for you.
Okay.
So when we last time spoke, I told you about my friend's wine company and that they launched Francie's Wine, and you're like, I know Francie's, I'm a big fan, I've been following him.
Exactly.
So I was like, man, what do I got to do to do a nice gesture for Art for trusting us with this project? So I went ahead and reached out to the team, and I got a signed bottle with Mr. Francie's himself.
Yes.
So there you go. I wanted you to add that to your collection since I knew you were such a big fan.
Appreciate it, man.
Man,
That's big right there. That's huge.
perfect. How was your experience overall?
It was good. Really good. They were quick, fast, real pleasurable. Nice guys up on the roof.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey man, thank you so much for trusting us with your project.
Not a problem.
So we're gonna go take a quick look at it, see how the final result came. But again, thank you very much. Appreciate your service.
Thank you again, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Art. So yeah, let's go take a look. All right, so everything looks pretty good. We went with the forest brown here. We got the ridge vent on here for that added extra circulation and airflow to keep the attic cool and dry. And then on this side of it, he was having a lot of issues with the low slope area. So we actually presented a case to have the low slope area replaced. Originally, that wasn't a part of the job, but we realized they were having a lot of the issues on that area. So we were able to submit that in, and we put a new layer of TPO here to protect that. Replaced a lot of the woodwork. Now he doesn't have to worry about leaks, blown off shingles, and we're luckily able to get it all done with insurance. All right, guys, so I told you I was gonna be at a very special job today, and this one in particular is special because Mr. David put it together, but it's because who it's installed for. So David, go ahead and do the intro and tell us whose roof this belongs to.
What's going on, Voz? Thanks for joining. Yeah, guys, as Vozgan said, this one is in particular pretty special. Now, we treat all clients the same, but not all clients are created equal. This guy is your very own founder of Papa Roach. So Jacoby Shaddix gave us the privilege and honor of replacing his roof. This roof was a very complex and fun job. It used to be wood shake, which is basically a really old wooden roof that sits on slats, no plywood, therefore creating more complexity for us. But guess what? We take on all the projects. So please join us for this ride. Let's show you what we did.
Okay, so as David mentioned, this roof is a lot more complex than your standard roof. As you can see, it's very steep. So when the guys work on a project like this, David, how much longer would it take for like the guys to bust out the squares, which in one square is 100 square feet. How much longer would it take for a guy, the crew to be able to install a roof with this complexity versus your standard shingle?
Yeah, I mean, this roof's gonna take at least 2 to 3 times longer than your traditional roof. So in other words, our guys are gonna take twice as long at least to do this roof, because you have to harness in, you have to make sure you're being extremely careful with your steps. And so you're gonna be a lot slower, and for a good reason. And so because of that, we have to allot more time, and it does end up costing a little bit more money. In addition to that, if you pan over here to the roof shingle, you're gonna tell that it almost looks like a puzzle. And that puzzle look is what gives presidential wood look shingles its prestige, why people love it, because it's got a wood look to it. Although it's composition shingles, it's the best on the market, it's the thickest on the market, and that's why it takes a little bit longer to install these type of roofs.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think this shingle is almost 3 times heavier than your standard shingle.
That's correct.
So, you know, obviously you're talking about a shingle that's gonna last a lot longer than your standard comp shingle. And so, yeah, let's pan out to the other side and see what the rest of it looks like. So as you mentioned, part of this house was an addition. Was that on the back end, I'm assuming?
Yes. the back side of the house was added on. So this whole front half of the house is original, and it did not have any plywood. So we've already talked about the fact that it's super steep a couple times. Imagine having to put plywood on a house that's standing almost straight up. So this whole front half had to be resheeted, which took also quite some time. And so we resheeted this whole front half, and also the garage right next to it didn't have plywood. It was original wood shake. And
so because it's such a steep roof, it's like almost that the roof is a part of the design of the house and gives it so much of its like character, you know. And I guess that's probably why it took them so long to decide what color they want, make sure it's the right shingle, because it's really adding to the aesthetic of the house.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I think it turned out beautiful.
Yeah, a roof like this on a house that has a very visible roof, a roof is like a nice pair of shoes. It's like a nice watch. You know, you want to make sure you love it. You want to make sure it fits the style of the house. You're going to be looking at it, after all, every day for the next 50 years, if it's your forever home. And so you want to make sure you love it. This particular roof, the reason why someone gets it, it's a statement piece. You could easily throw on a single laminate, flat dimensional shingle that's going to be a lot cheaper, but you might not like the look of it every time you're looking at it. When I look at this, it's just satisfying. It makes me happy.
Okay, so David, there's a lot going on this roof here from this shot. So tell us a little bit about the components and what the function is.
Yeah, absolutely. We kept talking today about how this is a more complex job. And part of the reason is because of how steep it is, so we want to take precaution. So what we have up the top is a harness, so the guys can freely move about the roof, just in case, you know, for safety. In addition to that, we have what's called a pitch hopper. So those black platforms you see there, that's installed into the roof to allow the roofer to move about the roof, kind of maneuver around a lot easier, and also be very safe while installing this roof. At the top, we have a 2x6 that's harnessed in as well to be a platform to hold some material. But overall, we take these precautions because we want our roofers to be safe and get the job done efficiently without worrying about any sort of, you know, safety issue. So yeah.
All right, guys, so that's the end of today's vlog. Thanks for joining. And just to recap, we got a chance to go out to meet our friend Art. Luckily, we were able to get his roof taken care of with insurance. He's very happy, and he was super stoked about the gift. That was so cool to see the expression on his face and how much that meant to him. Really, it's these kinds of moments that really makes it. And then we got to recap it with this beautiful roof job that David put together for Mr. Chaddox, and everything so far turned out beautiful here, and we're just so grateful and so thankful. So David, thank you so much for being a big part of everything that we do here.
For joining, guys.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.